Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today's Monday, September 26, 2022. Today I'm going to recap the NFL action from yesterday and look ahead to tonight's big Monday Night Football game. College football will go over the results from yesterday. Major League Baseball will go over the weekend's results, look ahead to today's games. Major League Soccer had one game over the weekend. We'll discuss it. Nhl Preseason started. We'll talk about yesterday's games, look ahead to who's playing tonight. We have the President's Cup to go over. We have NASCAR. News and notes, and best bet. We'll start the NFL. Very interesting Sunday, to say the least. A lot of unexpected. I went 0-5 in the Fab 5 picks, which is not good. But I rallied because I put some shekels down on the under of last night's game between the Broncos and the Niners, and that worked out. And also a 50-1 shot on Khalil Herbert for multiple or 2+ touchdowns was pretty nice as well. So the results: Bears over the Texans 23-20. The Bears are 2-1. Houston's 0-2-1. Justin Fields was terrible. 8-17, 106 yards and 2 picks. And Davis Mills 20-32, 245 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Colts upset the Chiefs 20-17. The Colts are 1-1-1. Casey's 2-1. Matt Ryan a little better, 27-37, 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Patrick Mahomes 20-35, 262 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Titans beat the Raiders 24-22. The Titans are 1-2. Las Vegas is 0-3. Ryan Tannehill 19-27, 264 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And Derek Carr 26-44, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. This Raiders team might be the best 0-3 team ever. Dolphins over the Bills 21-19. Dolphins 3-0. Buffalo 2-1. Tua Tagovailoa, 13-18, 186 yards and a touchdown. Josh Allen, 42-63, 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Throwing 63 times is just crazy. And he was 8-for-47 on the ground. Vikings over the Lions, 28-24. Vikings 2-1, Detroit 1-2. Vikings come back at the end. KJ Osborne, game-winning pass from Kirk Cousins with 45 seconds left. Cousins, 24-41, 260 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Jared Goff, 25-41, 277 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Ravens over the Patriots, 37-26. The Patriots are competitive in this game. Baltimore's 2-1, New England's 1-2. Lamar Jackson, 18-29, 218 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick. And 11-107, the rushing touchdown on the ground. And Mac Jones was awful, 22-32, 321 yards, and 3 picks. And the rushing touchdown. Although Mac hurt his back in the game, so that could be a tribute to why he struggled. Bengals over the Jets, 27-12. Cincinnati's 1-2. New York's 1-2. Joe Burrow, 23-36, 275 yards and 3 touchdowns. Joe Flacco, 28-52, 285 yards and 2 picks. He was terrible. Eagles over the Commanders, 24-8. Eagles 3-0. Washington 1-2. Jalen Hurts, 22-35, 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. Carson Wentz, 25-43, 211 yards. He was just god-awful. Panthers over the Saints, 22-14. Carolina's 1-2, so is New Orleans. Baker Mayfield, 12-25, 170 yards and a touchdown. Jameis Winston, 25-41, 353 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. I think he's playing injured. Jaguars upset the Chargers 38-10. Jags are 2-1. Los Angeles is 1-2. Justin Herbert played, but Trevor Lawrence was so good. 28-39, 262 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Justin Herbert, 25-45, 297 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Rams over the Cardinals, 20-12. The Rams are 2-1. The Cardinals are 1-2. Matt Stafford, 18-25, 249 yards. And Kyler Murray, 37-58, 314 yards. Falcons over the Seahawks, 27-23. Atlanta's 1-2. Seattle's 1-2. Marcus Mariota, 13-20, 229 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Geno Smith, 32-44, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Packers over the Buccaneers, 14-12. Packers 2-1. Tampa 2-1. Aaron Rodgers, 27-35, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And Tom Brady, 31-42, 271 yards, and a touchdown. And the Broncos over the 49ers, 11-10. The Broncos overcome their home fans booing Russell Wilson and the team for getting 3 and outs every possession, and they win. They're 2-1. San Fran's 1-2. Russell Wilson, 20-33, 384 yards. Jimmy Garoppolo, 18-29, 211 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Now we have tonight, Monday Night Football, 8:15 on ABC and ESPN. The Cowboys and the Giants from MetLife Stadium. I project here Giants by 5, total 39 3/4. And the line is going to be interesting. Let's see. The Giants are still a 1-point favorite, total 39.5. I'm laying the one with the Giants. I know everyone and their mother's going to bet on Dallas because they're the Cowboys. Everyone's going to say, oh, the Giants should be 0-2 because the Titans gave away the game week 1 and Baker Mayfield sucked in week 2 and Matt Rule's a coach that's about to get fired and yada yada. You're hearing all the negativity around the Cowboy bettors and, oh, the Cowboys defense is amazing. It is. Micah Parsons is amazing, but he's not healthy right now. He's probable. Or he's not 100% healthy, I should say. Yes, I respect the Cowboys defense. It's very good. They did a great job against Joe Burrow, and they did a great job against a washed-up Tom Brady. I think he's washed, kind of. You know my thoughts on the Bucs. They're the 2015-16 Broncos to me. But the Cowboys did a terrific job defensively in their first 2 games. I think they're going to be great defensively tonight. But ultimately, I just think that Cooper Rush is going to be their downfall. I think he's terrible. He made, 2 good plays in that Bengals game? And he was just an atrocity against the Bucs. And so was Dak Prescott, even though Dak got injured in that game. So I'm going to lay the point with the Giants against Dallas. I'm going to say the Giants win 19-16 or something like that. I think it's going to be a super low-scoring game. So, I actually have a slight edge on the over. So, this could be 22-20 Giants. 22-19. Which feels sort of realistic to me. I could see there being a missed extra point, a missed field goal, 2-point conversion, no good. But I like the 16-13 call. I like 19-16 as well as a final score. But I'm going to go with 22-19 as my final score in favor of Big Blue. All right, college football. Very interesting weekend. We'll go over the results from the weekend. We'll begin with Friday night. Syracuse over Virginia, 22-20. Syracuse 4-0. Virginia 2-2. Air Force over Nevada, 48-20. Air Force 3-1. Nevada 2-3. UTEP over Boise State, 27-20. UTEP 2-3. Boise 2-2. Saturday, number 1 Georgia over Kent State, 39-22. Georgia 4-0. Kent 1-3. Number 4 Michigan over Maryland, 34-27. Michigan 4-0. Maryland 3-1. Number 5, Clemson over number 21, Wake Forest, 51-45 in double overtime. Clemson 4-0, Wake 3-1. Number 14, Penn State over Central Michigan, 33-14. Penn State 4-0, Central Michigan 1-3. Number 17, Baylor over Iowa State, 31-24. And oh, by the way, 4-1 in the college picks this weekend. So that's pretty good. Baylor 3-1, Iowa State 3-1. Number 24, Pitt over Rhode Island, 45-24. Pitt 3-1, Rhode Island 2-2. Auburn over Missouri, 17-14 in overtime. Auburn 3-1, Missouri 2-2. Mississippi State over Bowling Green, 45-14. Mississippi State 3-1, Bowling Green 1-3. TCU over SMU, 42-34. TCU 3-0, SMU 2-2. Kansas over Duke, 35-27. Kansas 4-0, Duke 3-1. Louisville over South Florida, 41-3. Louisville 2-2, South Florida 1-3. Buffalo over Eastern Michigan, 50-31. Buffalo 1-3, Eastern Michigan 2-2. UCLA over Colorado, 45-17. UCLA 4-0, Colorado 0-4. Temple over UMass, 28-0. Temple 2-2, UMass 1-3. Ohio over Fordham, 59-52. Ohio 2-2, Fordham 3-1. Number 11, Tennessee over number 20, Florida, 38-33. Tennessee 4-0, Florida 2-2. Texas Tech over number 22, Texas, 37-34. In overtime, Texas Tech 3-1, Texas 2-2. Middle Tennessee over number 25, Miami 45-31. Middle Tennessee 3-1, Miami 2-2. Miami's just terrible. Oh my God. Notre Dame over North Carolina 45-32. Notre Dame 2-2. North Carolina 3-1. Minnesota over Michigan State 34-7. Minnesota 4-0. Michigan State 2-2. Cincinnati over Indiana 45-24. Cincinnati 3-1. Indiana 3-1. James Madison over Appalachian State 32-28. James Madison 3-0. App State 2-2. San Diego State over Toledo 17-14. San Diego State 2-2. Toledo 2-2. Western Kentucky destroys FIU 73-0. Western Kentucky 3-1. FIU 1-2. Memphis over North Texas 44-34. Memphis 3-1. North Texas 2-3. UTSA over Texas Southern 52-24. UTSA 2-2. Texas Southern 1-3. Number 15 Oregon over Washington State 44-41. Oregon State 3-1. Wazoo 3-1. Number 16 Ole Miss over Tulsa 35-27. Ole Miss 4-0. Tulsa 2-2. UCF over Georgia Tech 27-10. UCF 3-1. Georgia Tech 1-3. Sacramento State destroys Colorado State 41-10. Sac State 3-0. Colorado State 0-4. Colorado State is probably the worst team in the FBS. Outside of maybe, they might be better than New Mexico State. Or New Mexico State might be better than them. FIU's in the conversation, too. Cal over Arizona, 49-31. Cal 3-1, Arizona 2-2. Liberty over Akron, 21-12. Liberty 3-1, Akron 1-3. Navy upsets East Carolina 23-20 in double overtime. Navy 1-2. ECU 2-2. Georgia Southern over Ball State 34-23. Georgia Southern 3-1. Ball State 1-3. Old Dominion over Arkansas State 29-26. Old Dominion 2-2. Arkansas State 1-3. Houston over Rice 34-27. Houston 2-2. Rice 2-2. Number 8 Kentucky over Northern Illinois 31-23. Kentucky 4-0. Northern Illinois 1-3. Number 23 Texas A&M over number 10 Arkansas 23-21 from Dallas. A&M's 3-1. Arkansas is 3-1. Iowa over Rutgers 27-10. Iowa 3-1. Rutgers 3-1. Southern Miss over Tulane 27-24. Southern Miss 2-2. Tulane 3-1. UNLV over Utah State 34-24. UNLV 3-1. Utah State 1-3. Texas State over Houston Christian 34-0. Texas State 2-2. Houston Christian 1-2. Troy over Marshall 16-7. Troy 2-2. Marshall 2-2. South Alabama over Louisiana Tech. USA 3-1. Louisiana Tech 1-3. Number 2 Alabama over Vanderbilt 55-3. Alabama 4-0. Vandy 3-2. Number 3 Ohio State over Wisconsin 52-21. Ohio State 4-0. Wisconsin 2-2. Number 12 NC State over UConn 41-10. NC State 4-0. UConn 1-4. LSU over New Mexico 38-0. LSU 3-1. New Mexico 2-2. Miami of Ohio upsets Northwestern 17-14. Miami of Ohio 2-2. Northwestern's 1-3. South Carolina over Charlotte 56-20. Charlotte drops to 1-4. South Carolina's 2-2. Purdue over FAU 28-26. Purdue 2-2. FAU 2-3. Kansas State upsets number 6 Oklahoma 41-34. Kansas State 3-1. Oklahoma 3-1. New Mexico State over Hawaii 45-26. New Mexico State 1-4. Hawaii 1-4. Florida State over Boston College 44-14. Florida State 4-0. BC 1-3. UL Monroe over Louisiana 21-17. UL Monroe 2-2. UL Lafayette 2-2. Number 7 USC over Oregon State 17-14. USC 4-0. Oregon State 3-1. Number 19 BYU over Wyoming 38-24. BYU 3-1. Wyoming 3-2. Number 13 Utah State over Arizona State 34-13. Utah 3-1. Arizona State's 1-3. Number 18 Washington over Stanford 40-22. Washington 4-0. Stanford 1-2. And San Jose State over Western Michigan 34-6. San Jose State 2-1 and Western Michigan 1-3. All right, now move on to NFL or Major League Baseball. My bad. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to today's games. Friday night, Cubs over the Pirates 6-5. Brewers over the Reds 5-3. Marlins over the Nats 5-2. Phils over the Braves 9-1. Yanks over the Red Sox 5-4. Orioles over the Astros 6-0. Rays over the Blue Jays 10-6. Guardians over the Rangers 6-3. Angels over the Twins 4-2. Tigers over the White Sox 5-3. Rockies over the Padres 4-3-10 on a walk-off single by Alan Trejo. Royals over the Mariners 5-1. Mets over the A's 9-2. Giants over the D-backs 6-5. And Cardinals over the Dodgers 11-0. Saturday, Yankees over the Red Sox 7-5. Braves over the Phillies 6-3. A's over the Mets 10-4. Blue Jays over the Rays 3-1. Marlins over the Nats 4-1. Pirates over the Cubs 6-0. Brewers over the Reds 10-2. Guardians over the Rangers 4-2. Astros over the Orioles 11-10. Twins over the Angels 8-4. Tigers over the White Sox 7-2. Mariners over the Royals 6-5. Padres over the Rockies 9-3. Giants over the Diamondbacks 5-2. Or Diamondbacks over the Giants 5-2. My mistake. And the Dodgers over the Cardinals 6-2. And Sunday, the Braves over the Phillies 8-7-11. The Braves are 95-58. Phillies are 83-69. Astros over the Orioles 6-3-11. Astros 101-53. Baltimore 79-73. Blue Jays over the Rays 7-1. The Blue Jays are 86-67. Tampa is 84-69. Cubs over the Pirates 8-3. The Cubs are 67-86. Pittsburgh's 56-97. Reds over the Brewers 2-1. Reds 60-93. Milwaukee 82-71. Nats over the Marlins 6-1. The Nats are 53-99. Miami 63-90. Angels over the Twins 10-3. Angels 67-86. Minnesota 74-79. Tigers over the White Sox 4-1. Tigers 60-92. Chicago 76-77. So the White Sox are back under 500. Royals over the Mariners 13-12. Royals 63-90. Seattle 83-69. Guardians over Rangers 10-4. Guardians 86-67. Texas 65-87 as the Guardians clinch the AL Central. Padres over the Rockies 13-6. Padres 85-68. Colorado 65-88. Giants over the D-backs 3-2. The Giants are 75-78. Arizona 71-83. Mets over the A's 13-4. Mets 97-57. Oakland 56-97. Dodgers over the Cardinals 4-1. Dodgers 106-47. St. Louis 89-65. And the Yankees over Red Sox 2-0 in a rain-shortened 6-inning game. Yankees 94-58. Boston 72-80. Aaron Judge still stuck on 60 home runs. All right, now we look ahead to today's games. Only 4 games on the window. 6:30 of the Reds at the Pirates. Chase Anderson and Roansy Contreras. Pittsburgh's minus 154, Reds plus 130, over under 8, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 170, Pirates minus 1.5 is plus 140. For this game, I'm going to go with the over. Chase Anderson's just so bad. 7 o'clock, you have the Braves at the Nationals, Bryce Adler and Corey Abbott. Braves minus 260, Nats plus 215, over under 9, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Braves minus 1.5 is minus 154, Nats plus 1.5 is plus 128. For this one, I'm going to go with the under. I don't feel good about it, though. Although Nats' run line's interesting, but I like the under better. Yankees, Blue Jays, Aaron Judge going for 61 in Toronto. Yankees going for the AL East crown. Luis Severino, Kevin Gausman. The Blue Jays are actually favored, minus 118. The Yanks are even money, over under 7.5. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 168. Blue Jays plus 1.5 is minus 205. I'm going with the Yankees even money. They're 50.2% favorites on ESPN Analytics. I think there's a chance Judge ties him tonight. He has good numbers against Gausman in his career, dating back from Gausman's days with the Orioles. Although Gausman's a different pitcher now, I do like the Yankees to win here and to clinch the American League East tonight against their rival Blue Jays. And last but not least, the Orioles at the Red Sox. Jordan Lyles and Connor Seabold. The Red Sox are favored minus 126. The Orioles are plus 108, over under 9.5. Overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Orioles plus 1.5 is minus 182. Red Sox minus 1.5 is plus 150. I'm going with the Orioles at plus 108. They should be favored in this game. The Red Sox are favored because they're the Red Sox, let's be honest. But the Orioles are still alive-ish in the wild card race. They're how many back? 4. Not realistic, but you know they're still going to play hard. I like the Orioles at plus 108 tonight in Boston against the Red Sox. Now move on to Major League Soccer. We ironically only had one game over the weekend. I like Galaxy over San Jose 3-2. So the first goal of the game was scored by Javier Hernandez of LA Galaxy to give the LA Galaxy a 1-0 lead. Then they go up 2-0 on a goal by Gaston Brugman in the 42nd minute. Then after the break, Hernandez again, the 69th minute, makes it 3-0 LA. And then 5 minutes later, Christian Espinoza of San Jose in the 74th minute on a penalty kick makes it 3-1. And Nathan Cardoso makes it a little closer than it should have been in the 94th minute to make it a 3-2 matchup, or 3-2 scores. LA wins. And where things stand right now, the Galaxy, with the big win in 5th place in the Western Conference, one back of Nashville for 4th. So that's pretty good. So they're 1 point back of potentially having home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Because LAFC is getting a bye, the Union are getting a bye, and then 2 through 7 in each conference. So it would be, if the season were to end today, in the East, the Union would get a bye, and then it would be Montreal against Miami, and then the Red Bulls against Cincinnati, and then NYCFC against Orlando. With Montreal, Red Bulls, and NYCFC having a home field. And now the question is, and here's a subplan, NYCFC, do they play at the stadium or Citi Field or where? Because both teams are in the playoffs in baseball. So NYCFC, little conundrum potentially. So they have to work out some scheduling with Major League Baseball there. And then the West, LAFC is going to get a bye. It would be Minnesota at Austin, Portland at Dallas, and LA Galaxy at Nashville if the playoffs round 1 were to begin today. All right, NHL Preseason began yesterday. We'll go over results from the short amount of games that we had, and then we have some games tonight as well. Avalanche over the Golden Knights 3-1. Penguins over the Blue Jackets 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Jason Zucker. Sabres over the Caps 4-3 in overtime on a game winner by Vinny Hinostroza. Wild over the Avalanche 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Ryan Hartman. Ducks over the Coyotes 3-2. Oilers over the Jets 4-0. Sharks over the Kings 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Logan Couture. Flames over the Canucks 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Michael Stone. Blue Jackets over the Penguins 5-1 in the other game. So there's 2 Penguins-Columbus games. And then 2 Calgary-Vancouver games because it's split squads. It's kind of like baseball in that way. Flames over the Canucks 4-0. And then tonight we have a couple. 4 o'clock we have the Predators hosting the Panthers. 7 o'clock on the NHL Network you have the Islanders at the Rangers from the Garden. Devils at the Canadiens. 8 o'clock Blues at the Stars. Predators hosting the Panthers. So that's a split squad. 10 o'clock the Oilers at the Kraken. And then the Kings at the Golden Knights. All right, now move on to the President's Cup. It was an interesting tournament, to say the least, as we'll begin with round 3, the foursomes. U.S. won 10-4 as Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas defeated Sungjae and Corey Connors. Adam Scott and Hideki Matsuyama knocked off Cam Young and Colin Morikawa. By the way, it was Spieth and Thomas over Im and Connors 4-3. Scott and Matsuyama over Young and Morikawa 3-2. Kyung-Hoo Lee and Tom Kim over Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns 2-1. And Tony Finau and Max Homa over Siwoo Kim and Cam Davis 4-3. So U.S. was up 10-4 after round 3. Round 4, a little interesting by international team. Siwoo Kim and Tom Kim over Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele 1-up. Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth over Hideki Matsuyama and Taylor Pendrith 4-3. Sungjae Im and Sebastian Munoz over Tony Finau and Kevin Kisner 3-2. And Adam Scott and Cam Davis over Billy Horschel and Sam Burns 1-up. And in round 5 singles, Siwoo Kim over Justin Thomas 1-up. Jordan Spieth over Cam Davis 4-3. Hideki Matsuyama and Sam Burns tied. Patrick Cantlay over Adam Scott 3-2. Sebastian Munoz over Scotty Scheffler 2-1. Tony Finau over Taylor Pendrith 3-1. Xander Schauffele over Corey Connors 1-up. Sun J.M. over Cam Young 1-up. Kanku Lee over Billy Horschel 3-1. Max Homa over Tom Kim 1-up. Colin Morikawa over Mito Pereira 3-2. And Kristen Ziedenhout over Kevin Kisner 2-1. We makes the final scores. USA 17.5. International 12.5. So USA wins by 5. So it was a closer tournament than anticipated. All right, now I'll move on to NASCAR from the weekend. Some interesting race results, to say the least. We'll start with Xfinity. The winner of that race from Texas, Noah Gragson coming in second. Austin Hill coming in third. Ty Gibbs coming in fourth. AJ Allmendinger, fifth. Riley Herbst. Sixth, Josh Berry. Seventh, Sheldon Creed. Eighth, Sam Meyer. Ninth, Ryan Sieg. 10th, CJ McLaughlin. The rest: Nick Sanchez, Bailey Curry, Stephon Parsons, Tommy Joe Martins, Jeb Burton, Matt Mills, Alex Labb, Joe Graff Jr., Anthony Alfredo, Myatt Snyder, Parker Retzlaff, Kyle Weatherman, Garrett Smithley, Brandon Brown, Joey Gase, Josh Williams, Brandon Jones, John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Allgaier, Daniel Hemrick, Brendan Poole, Mason Massey, Landon Castle, J.J. Yaley, and Yorkie Ogata, Jeremy Clements, David Starr, and Jeffrey Earnhardt. And the Cup Series from Texas. Your winner, Tyler Riddick. Second, Joey Logano. Third, Justin Haley. Fourth, Ryan Blaney. Fifth, Chase Briscoe. Sixth, Eric Jones. Seventh, William Byron. Eighth, Brad Keselowski. Ninth, Kyle Larson. 10th, Denny Hamlin. The rest: Michael McDowell, Daniel Suarez, Ross Chasen, Corey LaJoie, Austin Cindric, Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon, Harrison Burton, Kevin Harvick, Ty Gibbs, Noah Gragson, Landon Castle, Garrett Smithley, Eric Almirola, Bubba Wallace, B.J. McLeod, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Todd Gilliland, Alec Bowman, Chris Boucher, Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Cody Ware, Chris Bell, Cole Custer, and Kyle Busch. A stunning last place finish in that race. All right, Dancing with the Stars again tonight. This is the second episode of the season. So it's tonight on Disney Plus. The theme this week is Elvis. So it's going to be an interesting show, to say the least. So last week they did premiere night party to some party songs. The highest scoring routine was Charlie and Mark. They did Savage by Megan Thee Stallion. And the lowest scoring routine was Vinny and Coco as they danced to Tite Mi Pregunto. So, we'll see what happens tonight. If I had to make a blind guess of who gets voted off tonight, I'm going to say it's those two. Now I'm going to go over the news and notes for today. A couple things that I want to get to. We will start with... there's a lot we could go. Let's go to baseball. The biggest story of the weekend is that Albert Pujols hit his 700th career home run in Dodger Stadium and hit .699 in the at-bat prior. It was amazing. Dodger Stadium was going nuts. And I love the respect that those fans showed for Albert. The San Francisco Giants watched Pujols on their Jumbotron. And the funny thing is that Dave Roberts, his reaction, he really forgot that Pujols is no longer a Dodger. That is so funny. And then Albert said that the fan can keep the 700 ball as he's not concerned with getting historic ball back after fan left stadium with it. He says souvenirs are for the fans. And then the Dodgers also clinched the 1 seed in the National League as they'll have home field throughout the National League playoffs. So, if you're the Dodgers, you really just aren't playing for nothing anymore. The other big baseball story over the weekend is that Don Mattingly will be resigning as Marlins manager. That's just not surprising. This is something I predicted. I think I said that. I'll paint my flag that Don Mattingly won't be back. But I thought it'd be more of a firing than him resigning. So I guess it was a parting of the ways in a way. Atlanta's Kyle Wright went to his 20th game, and it's the Braves' first 20-game winner since 2003. Tony La Russa won't return in 2022 as doctors direct La Russa to not return this season and Miguel Cairo to continue as acting skipper. The Mariners give Luis Castillo 5-year, $108 million extension. So they trade for him and then they pay and extend him as well. Chris Bryant out for the year as he will finish the season without a home run at Coors Field. What a disaster. Oh my God. Dustin May to the injured list with lower back tightness. They need him back for the postseason. Brutal losses for Tampa Bay. Shane Baz, Tommy John surgery, and Brandon Lau with the back injury. Brutal, brutal, brutal news, especially for Baz. I feel like every year a Rays pitcher gets Tommy John surgery, and it's unfortunate. Julio Rodriguez to the 10-day injured list with the lower back strain. Byron Buxton out for the year as he's having arthroscopic knee surgery next week. And it's just unfortunate. Pirates claim Miguel Andujar off waivers from the Yankees. Garrett Cole and Aaron Boone got ejected after a bad call, which ultimately led to a game-tying home run. And now Cole's getting a lot of hate on social media, and rightfully so, because you're supposed to put hitters away. I get it, but that was a bad call. It's like it's a lose-lose situation for Cole. Kyle Higashioka offers a reward for the lucky fan who catches Judge's 62nd home run. That's funny. Mike Trout did his Mount Rushmore of current outfielders. I suggest you guys check that out. Barry Bonds is a big fan of Aaron Judge and would love for him to join Giants and break his home run record this season. Oof. I don't think Aaron Judge is going to San Francisco. I just don't think so. More baseball news that the Orioles are having a bank assess sale as they bring in Goldman Sachs to assess club for possible sale amid disputes in the Angelos family. So that's really interesting there. A lot of NFL news that I want to get into. The Pro Bowl game is no more as the NFL is replacing the full contact game with the Pro Bowl games, a week of skills competition and flag football. LaShawn McCoy calls out Eric Bieniemy on Instagram after flaming him in the offseason. John Morant trashes the 49ers Broncos game on Twitter. Go figure. Not surprised. The Jags brutally trolled the Chargers yesterday after their big win. If you didn't see the two viral things that came from the Bills-Dolphins game, go ahead and see them. First was the butt punt, as this self-blocked punt by Miami could have cost them the game. And then Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator of the Bills, goes on a rampage after time expires against the Dolphins, as they couldn't spike the ball in time. So Jimmy Garoppolo was almost traded to the Commanders, as the Niners and the Commanders had the parameters of a trade agreement in place prior to the offseason surgery. And then they turned to Wentz. And then the team is still committed to Lance, as they have a recovery timeline of 4 to 6 months, and the team firmly committed to him. No change imminent for the Panthers, as David Tepper is expected to be patient with Matt Rule as Carolina works on its turnaround. Nathaniel Hackett brings in an advisor, Jerry Roseberg, as a senior assistant to help with game day decisions. Leonard Fournette and Marshawn Lattimore fined $13,367 each for unnecessary roughness during last week's skirmish. The Players Association are probing concussion check, as the union will investigate the handling of Tua Tagovailoa's concussion check during the game against the Bills. This is going to be a very, very interesting subplot. Trent Williams did not return to the game against the Broncos last night due to a high ankle sprain as he left the field. Mac Jones was in pain. His x-rays are negative. He avoids a fracture, as he has a ligament or tendon damage after x-rays are negative, and it was believed to be a high ankle sprain, as an MRI is scheduled today. We talked about Tua. Taylor Lewan out for the season due to a knee injury. That's brutal for the Titans. Zach Wilson to return next week, barring any setbacks. That is wonderful news for the Jets. They need him back. Dalvin Cook day-to-day after dislocating his shoulder, as he hopes to wear a harness and play next week. David Montgomery day-to-day, as David Montgomery suffered a lower leg injury, according to Matt Eberflus. Micah Hyde out until 2023 with a neck injury. That is brutal for the Bills. Brian Robinson took the field less than a month after being shot during an armed robbery attempt, as he was running route, so that is wonderful news. Micah Parsons is dealing with the flu. We'll see if he plays well or not. I'm sure he will play. And Kayvon Thibodeau says he's playing tonight against the Cowboys, which is wonderful news for the Giants. They need him out there. They're 2-0 without Kayvon Thibodeau, which is incredible. After it was reported that Taylor Swift was set for Super Bowl halftime show, it would be Super Bowl 57. TMZ reports that sources with direct knowledge confirmed that Taylor will not headline the Super Bowl halftime show. And then it was reported that it will be Rihanna. That is a great, great pick by the league. I think Taylor Swift would have been a great pick as well, but I think Rihanna would have more of a retro and old school, a lot of old music from the mid-2000s. She hasn't really done much in a while. Although I feel like Taylor Swift's the betting favorite every single year for the Super Bowl halftime show. I think her and Elton John, had the top two in terms of odds. Lady Gaga already did one. Justin Timberlake did one. Bruno Mars was in it twice. Beyonce was in it twice. But that's awesome for Rihanna. College football news. Georgia Tech fires Jeff Collins and athletic director Todd Stansbury. That's just brutal. Georgia Tech's just awful. We knew that going into the year. Now, it's going to be interesting to see who they replace. This is the third time in 5 weeks of college football where we've had a coach get fired. This week it's Jeff Collins. Last week was Herm Edwards, and 3 weeks ago it was Scott Frost of Nebraska. In the FCS, Stephen F. Austin won 98-0 and had a chance for 100 but took a knee after the last touchdown against Warner. So that is absolutely insane. Mike Leach calls BS on the Arch Manning visit as he has doubts about Texas spending $280,000 on recruiting trip featuring Arch Manning. Some brutal soccer news that Barca defender Ronald Araujo out for the World Cup. Sidelined for 2 to 3 months after deciding to have thigh surgery. That is not fun. Some basketball stuff. Netflix released a clip of LeBron, Wade, Bosh, and Melo taking a peek Kobe story, or talking about a peak Kobe story from 2008 Olympics. So that is really interesting. Robert Williams 8 to 12 weeks out as he underwent successful surgery to remove loose bodies and address swelling in his knee. So he won't be playing for the Celtics to start the season. Keldon Johnson out of camp with a dislocated shoulder. That's not good for San Antonio. Markelle Fultz fractures his toe as he won't need surgery for injury suffered during the workout. The Charlotte Hornets signed LiAngelo Ball as LiAngelo and LaMelo are reunited as LiAngelo signs a non-guaranteed deal with Charlotte. Russell Westbrook not worried about rumors about him starting the season on the bench as he's focused on doing his job, being professional and competing, and doesn't need to feel wanted by the Lakers. The Suns are to trade Drake Crowder after they've come to a mutual agreement to find a trade for the veteran as he will not participate in camp. They need to trade him somewhere decent. I think they should trade him back to the Celtics with Gallinari out. They need somebody like that. I would do the Celtics if I were them. Andre Iguodala returning to the Warriors as he announces on his podcast as he's re-signing with the Warriors for what will be his last season. So he's retiring after the end of the year. Knicks president Leon Rose is thrilled with the team. Taking a look at the summer, we feel great about what transpired. I don't know if I agree with that. I think he's just showing face and saying the right things because they lost out on Donovan Mitchell and they were criticized for the draft and how they cleared all the cap room for Jalen Brunson. But we'll see. They might be better than expected this season. Kemba Walker to walk away from camp as the team faces roster decision ahead of the deadline for the Pistons. So we'll see if he gets cut. Draymond doesn't expect deal with the Warriors. I don't think it will happen, he says. The Pelicans extend C.J. McCollum 2 years, $64 million. They'll keep him there through 25-26. That is really, really great news for the Pelicans. Giannis at Media Day says that Stephen Curry is the best player in the world. I disagree with Giannis. I think Giannis is the best player in basketball. I just think people are saying that about Curry because he single-handedly carried the Warriors to a title. And the Bucks lost in the second round last year, and Giannis is probably taking blame for that. So I appreciate the selflessness out of Giannis. Like, you see that with Aaron Judge, with the Yankees. You see it with Giannis. You see it all around sports for the great players we have. So, I disagree with Giannis. I think Giannis is the best player in basketball, and Curry is probably in the top 5. Roger Federer was ousted in his last match by Francis Tiafoe. So that just stinks, is that he knocks off Federer and Nadal in the match tiebreak at the Laver Cup. It was Tiafoe and Jack Sock over Federer and Nadal. And Jimmy Johnson retires. The NASCAR legend announces he's stepping away from full-time racing, but will still compete in bucket list events. I thought Jimmy Johnson already retired. I thought he already retired from NASCAR. That's weird. So that's interesting. So congrats to Jimmy Johnson. All right, I think he retired from being a full-time Cup Series driver. So that's that. Best bet time brought to you by FanDuel. Do I go with the Giants or do I go with one of the baseball games is the question. I really do like the over in that Reds Pirates game because I just think Chase Anderson is really, really bad. So I'm going to go a half unit on over 7.5 between the Reds and the Pirates for my best bet of the day. So that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from today. Look ahead to everything tomorrow. And obviously news and notes and best bet. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.